Hi there guys, Tony here from Caveman Props. Firstly, I'd like to apologise to the viewers out there for the lack of content that I've been putting out on the YouTube and the Facebook page just recently. Unfortunately, work has had to take precedent, and obviously I've had to concentrate on that, which means I've had less time for the props building and the tutorials. It's taken a little bit of a back seat. The rest of the Ice Warrior is all done. I just need to have the time to be able to sit down and edit them all together and get them out to you. I've made a special exception today because it is almost Christmas and I like to do a Christmas build. And as always, the Star Wars film's out in December, so we are going to be doing another Star Wars build, especially for Christmas. I thought about this one really hard, and I was thinking about perhaps doing something for one of the new more modern films. And I thought, no, I'd still like to keep it classic like I have with a couple of the others. So I've actually decided to go with Han Solo's DL-44 blaster, a nice classic blaster, and I've managed to pick up some bits really cheaply, which is going to really help me along with this build. First, I've bought this. This is a toy gun. It is based on the C96 Mauser, I believe. If I've got that wrong, please correct me. It's a dart blast, which means they've made the barrel a bit thicker, which is good for us because the barrel needs to be thicker. This was the base gun that the DL-44 was made from. This is a little bit smaller because it is a toy model, but not far off, and it's getting us there quite closely with some of the detail. The other one I picked up was this. This is another dart blaster, but it's a blow blaster, and I'm looking at this top piece thinking it would be a perfect sight to go across the top of the gun, and then all I've got to do is add details on it. The flash hydra at the front is the most difficult part. I've had a look online. You can find people that are making replicas of them. They're really expensive and they're not that great, so I've decided to have a go at hand making my own one. We'll see how well this turns out. I've got this. This is an old glue stick that my kids were using. I'm not sure how we can see that, but I'm looking at this bit. It looks very much like the base bit of the flash hydra, and the lid has the little grooves in it, and I'm thinking if I can cut this off and then stick the lid to it, demonstrate that, so I can put those two bits together, I've pretty much got the base, and then I've got some it's got something in there that I've used before which is cone shaped, and I'll be able to stick that on the end and drill the holes, and I reckon I'll be able to make a half decent flash hydra that will go on the front, and then a few little bits and pieces added to it and painted it up. So we're going to go into the workshop. I'm going to get my little saw out, and I'm going to start cutting some bits up, and we'll see what we can do. Okay then, right, I've been playing about with the saw and cutting some bits. So I've sorted the gun out. I've cut the barrel just a little bit shorter, and I've also pulled the mechanism out the back, cut that, fired the gun, so that's now gone in. So it's no longer firing, it's got rid of that plug bit on the end that we didn't want. I've also cut this bit down. I mean, the end came off quite nice and easy, so I've cut it down to the right shape, put that back on, and that's going to be our scope that goes on the back here. The handles come off, which is quite handy, which means I can paint them separately, so I can try and make them look a bit more like wooden handles, and this is going to be black metal. And I've done the bits of the glue stick, so I've stuck those bits together to create the flash hydra. And this was part of it's a cone for a football game. It was quite difficult to cut because obviously not being able to lay it flat, trying to get a straight edge to keep the cone shape was a bit difficult, so I had to cut it and sand it down a little bit to try and get it, but I'm pretty much there. So those bits will go together. I've just got to mark up and drill the holes into that, but then that will glue onto that, be quite nice, and then that will glue onto the bit of the gun there, so that's good. I've also cut this piece out from plastic. This is going to sit on this side. It's going to be raised off a little bit, have another bit across the front, and I'm going to hopefully heat the end bits here, and then that's what's going to attach to the scope and hold it onto the gun. So I want to get the holes sorted in this, see if I can get this bent. I need to get another piece cut to go across the front here. That's going to be raised off, so I think I'm going to use some nuts or something to hold under there, because I'm going to drill into it and it's going to have a bit across the front. So we're going to crack on and start putting some bits together. Where did I put it? I've also got this little bit of ridged pipe. I've cut a small bit off and cut a slit in it, and that is going to be perfect for a bit at the front there. This is black, almost like rubber, so I don't think that's going to paint too well, so I'm not going to have it on while I finish the gun off. It's going to go on at the last minute once we're all done, and kind of just be glued into place once everything's on. So we're going to get that sorted, a few more bits and pieces done, and I'll show you where we're up to. Okay, right, I've managed to bend the ends of these. I used my heat gun, put it on a little block of wood, heated the heat gun, and then used a pair of pliers just to press the ends down and hold it in place while it cooled down and set. And I did each one individually, but by holding it onto a piece of wood I kind of got that bit all lined up nicely. I've then drilled holes in the top there, one in the bottom there, because that's going to be connected to the gun, and it's going to have the strip across here with 2 more screws into it. We'll go through that. I've then done 2 little pilot holes in the bottom here. Let's think which way. It's going to go on like that, so I'm just going to screw that on. We have a couple of little screws like that, and then that's going to be the sight connected to a holder, which can then be connected straight to the side of the gun. So we're going to get that sorted, and while I've got the drill bit out, I'm going to start doing the holes in the flash hider. Okay, right, so we're moving along nicely. I've got this bracket now attached to here. That's going to be attached to the main body of the gun. I've drilled a little hole. I'm going to bolster it out with a nut, and then that's going to be screwed in there. What I'm going to look for is I'm going to get some washers, put them together, and they're going to create the round bit that's going to sit there. There's going to be a couple more either ends, but I'm going to sort them out. So that will be held on to the main body of the gun like that. I have drilled the holes in here for the flash hider, or flash suppressor. I'm not sure if I've done quite enough holes as there should be, but it's quite thin plastic. I didn't want to try it anymore and break it. So that's now been connected to this, so that will then go on to the gun like that, and then you'll have the sight on there. I still think this barrel's a little bit long, so I might need to cut this barrel down just a little bit more, and then basically we'll start putting together and painting. Okay, right, I've got the scroll saw back out, and I've cut this down just a fraction of an inch. I literally just took about that much off. Again, sanded that down so it's nice and even. I'm going to apologise if you can hear some funny noises in the background. It's got so cold in my workshop I've had to put the heating on, and unfortunately making a bit of noise, but hopefully it won't distract you too much. So that will go on there. I've looked back at my reference images and realised that I was wrong, that the little strip didn't go on the front, it goes on the back of this, ready to go on the gun. I was having trouble cutting this from the same plastic and keeping it nice and straight, so I've ended up cutting it from a bit of MDF, and once that's all painted out that shouldn't really make much of a difference. So that will go on the gun body bit like that. I'm going to keep it separate for the moment because I'm going to be spraying it. A little while ago I bought a big bag of nuts and washers from the pound shop. Again, a lovely place to shop, and I used the nuts on about 2 different projects, so it was really handy. And basically what I've been left with is a load of these washers, and these are going to come in handy now because I'm going to glue a load of these together, and these are going to be like the little holders that are going to be on here. So there's going to be some on there, some on there, and a few on there. I'm going to put little ones on the top, guide them off. So that's going to be kind of the detailing on that, and obviously the top one will also have the screw head through it, but that will hold everything into place. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue 4 of them together as well, put another bit on top, because there needs to be like a rangefinder that will sit on the top of this. So that's going to go on the top of the sight there. So that will be attached in with a little screw similar to this, and add the details there, and then everything should be ready for painting up. So I'm going to start trying to delicately glue all those bits together, put it all on this. Trying to think at the moment whether I should glue this on now and spray this as one part black first and then spray this silver, or keep them separate for the moment. I'm thinking I might keep them separate for the moment and just go with it. So all I need to do is just spray that up black, get the detailing done on this, and then we'll be ready, and I'll show you some work on the handles as well. Right then, okay, so I've added these details to this now, so that's looking a lot closer to what it should be. I still think I need to put something behind this when I come to connect, just to raise it off just a little bit. But we've also put the rangefinder on. The details will go on there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some wire and take these outside, suspend them up, and they're going to get a coat with a plastic primer first, and then both of these are going to get sprayed with a lovely black. This one's going to get the plastic primer and then get a metallic silver, go all over it, and then basically what we can do is start putting it together and add some weathering details. Oh, and I'm going to paint the handles up. So we'll get these sprayed, and then what I'll do is we'll work on the handles. Okay, so I've taken the other bits out. They're been painted and just waiting for them to dry at the moment. So I'm going to concentrate on the handles. And very simply with this, I'm just going to paint it with normal brown acrylic. This is a little one. This is actually a burnt umber. This is one of the acrylics, if you've seen some of my other videos, I use in weathering techniques. It's quite a nice sort of like almost mud brown colour, worked with a little bit of red in there, which is a brilliant weathering cover, but we're just going to be using it as a straight brown today. And I'll put a little bit in this part with a little brush. I'm not sure how well this is going to go on, so we're just kind of testing as we go. So I'm just going to put some on. Might need to take a couple of coats, although actually that's going on quite nicely. Maybe put it on a bit thick, but that might work in our favour, because obviously these have got to try and be wood. So that's actually going on really nicely. So I might just leave that. It might just need a little bit of black. If I try and not do the middle grooves, they will come out a little bit more darker because of the black underneath. And we'll kind of add that effect, but that is coming out really nicely. Plus it's quite handy, it's got the little bits underneath which I can hold on to while I paint it. So that's what I'm going to do. So get this on, but this has gone on really quite well, a lot better than I was expecting it to. So that will make the handles kind of look a bit more wood than plastic, which is what I'm after. And hopefully once the rest of it's all dry, I'll get the other handle done, and we can start assembly once everything's dry. Right, so we've given everything a good day to dry, so that's all set now. I think it's come out really well. I had a little bit of disaster. As I sprayed the black on, it just started raining, so where some little spots of water have touched it, it's kind of bubbled. This is easily sorted. We basically just sand those bits down and just give it another spray, primer when we spray it. That's all it basically needs doing. I am a little bit pushed for time though, so basically I'm going to leave this as it is and put the assembly together, and then at a later date I'll probably take it all apart again and add all those details. I'm going to add a bit more detail to this one. There should be a little screw on it, and I've found this one which I think is going to be perfect. So it really should have gone in before I painted it and put it all together, but I'm going to try very carefully to drill a hole in there and then tap that screw into it so it just sticks out the bottom, and then that should be all ready to go. So I'll get that in and then I can start assembling it. Okay, so with the rotary I managed to drill a hole in there very carefully. Now I'm hoping it's going to be big enough. I'm not sure if it will. That's biting. Oh, Well, it's going in quite nicely. I don't even need the screwdriver, I don't think. It's going in beautifully by hand. I'm not even going to have to glue this, I don't think. That's in. Perfect. Look at that. That went really well. So now it's just time to put everything together. So pull the gun back in. I'm going to take the suspension wire off. Pull the sight back in. Right, where was my screw for the sight? That one. So let's see. So I'm going to go in a little way. I want to put a washer in here just to hold that bit off the ground just a little bit. And hopefully that should be good. So, moment of truth. Right, that's going through and then connecting against something, popping the shell of the gun. So, what I might need to do is drill through that a little bit further into the next sheet of plastic. So, I'll get that done and see how that goes on. Okay, I've zoomed myself ahead a bit. When I drilled the hole extra for this, it went through the middle of the trigger section, which is fine because it's not working or not firing anything, so that wasn't a problem. But by re-drilling it, I'd made the outside hole a little bit bigger, which meant this didn't really hold quite so well. So I'd marked these two off and drilled them. So now it's got 3 screws, and that intends to hold that in a lot better. I've also glued the flash hydrant on. What I did was I took a very thin strip of 5mm foam and put it round the inside, on the outside bit of it, and that was just right for the gun barrel to nestle into, and then obviously to glue to, and that's held it in quite nicely and quite tight. Last few details to add are the handle grips, so they go back on nicely. There we go. They're back on. Oh, and obviously our grill bit. I'll cut a little piece out, obviously, to present this one. It holds on quite nicely, so I don't think I'm going to need to glue that on. That's just kind of holding on quite nicely by itself. So there we have it. That's all together. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of weathering detail with the silver pen. So just some little bits of roughness, like on the hand, bits which would be touched. Just some little bits of where it's going to be used. Make it look like maybe the black paint's flaking off a little bit. So you don't have to go really like massive with this. You just want to be a little bit. Sometimes less is more. So we'll do a little bit of detail on these bits. Some details on here. Little bits that will get moved about, worn. There we go. So I'm going to add a few little bits more details maybe on here as well, and we should be ready to go. And there we have it, guys, the finished prop all done and dusted. I think it came out really well. It was quite fun also to build and to piece all the bits together. I know what some of you are saying. You can easily buy the toy version of this and spray it up, and you pretty much get the same thing. You can, if that's what you want to do. There is nothing wrong with that. I mean, I like getting all the pieces, putting it all together and building it myself. Also, the toy, the scope is actually connected to the side of the gun and the flash hydrant, because they've obviously had to film it all in one. But if you're building a cheap cosplay, you can easily buy the gun and repaint it. In fact, I mean, I enjoy piecing all the bits together, but I've actually sat and worked this out, that this version building it like this actually cost me under £5, and you can pay up to £20 for the toy, and then you've got to paint it up. Including paint and everything on this. I mean, the main body of the gun was £1. This was £1. This was out of a set of 5 for £1, which I bought for another project. This was waste. This was a bit of scrap plastic. It's all in there, and you know, if you have to put the value on it, this was definitely under £5 and well worth building. I think you'll agree that that's come out pretty good. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the StarWars DL-44 Han Solo blaster, where Han fired first. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please please subscribe to the channel. You can also check us out on Facebook, check out some of the other prop builds that I've done, and I'll have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you in 2018 for some more prop builds.